Well, Alex, what's been going on, man?
Oh, nothing, man.
Oh, first,
Living
let's
life.
do a clap real
Oh
quick.
yeah.
1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you. Now, Alex,
Hmm.
what's been going on, man?
Not a whole lot. We've been Littlefoot's been pretty busy. Slowly
Nice.
picking up traffic. Uh, you know, dealing with the old man.
Yeah, how's he doing? Last time I talked to him, he said his blood pressure was back up. This isn't necessarily a thrilling podcast talk, but
Yeah, yeah. You know how he is. He's still trying to figure out. He's still arguing with his doctors constantly
yeah,
about
it's
every little thing.
it's
So
not the very obvious things that would cause your health problems that you do every day, Dad. It's got to be something else.
no, it can't be the TV dinners and the Lay's chips and everything else you consume.
Right.
Certainly has to be the doctors that just got it wrong.
Yeah. Sorry, 1 second. 100%, dude.
Yeah, but no, he's been
Unless,
good. He's been good mostly.
all right, that's good.
Bailey's been getting him up and out of the house a lot. He doesn't go far; he just walks outside, but at least it gets him up off the couch.
Yeah, in the winter, that's all you can ask for, really. What's the weather like
Yeah,
there? Is
honestly,
it
he can't really be moving much. It's been nasty here.
has it?
It's been like a frozen tundra out there. Uh, Tons of
Ye-
snow, like kind of the winters I would have expected Grand Rapids to have when I moved here.
Oh,
Just
yikes!
like
That sounds awful.
consistent. Yeah, exactly. Like consistent lake effect snow, like not a ton of snow, but like consistent snowy days
Mm.
and enough to make it annoying to get around.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been kind of a mess. We got a little break right now. This week's gonna be pretty warm. I think we're gonna have a little bit of a warm stretch. So
That's cool.
I
That's
think we're
good.
finally gonna get a little bit of a break. January's been a long month out here.
We had obviously, a little bit of a tough stretch here.
Yeah, right? Yeah. You know what's funny is I was saying this to Rosie earlier. We were talking about like how this month feels like 3 months to me. And like
Yeah,
speaking of LA wildfires, like that feels like that happened 3 months like it started 3 months ago to me.
right?
In my head, it's like it feels so long ago,
Yeah,
but
no,
it's extremely fresh.
yeah, no, kind of same. To me, it feels the same way, like it was a while ago. And it's funny because they're still, it's still burning. We just got rain this past weekend for the first time since they started.
That's
Um,
huge.
which, yeah, it is huge, obviously, for the firefighting efforts and for the air quality here. It's returned back to normal, basically, which is
Yeah, that's
cool.
huge.
Yeah. Yeah. I was out walking earlier today. Yeah, and it was cool. The skies were
Like
super clear. You could see the mountains like way in the distance. That's how you can gauge it.
nice.
Um, it's like you
Like
either just see a
noticeably,
haze or you see, yeah, like a really beautiful mountain line past the
yeah,
city.
pretty clear telltale of how the air quality is.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, weather updates aside, folks, this is episode 72, right, Alex? Is this 72? Yeah,
I think it is
72
72, yeah.
of soccer
Yeah.
situations. This is going to be a very Champions League heavy episode as the eighth and final round of the league phase just wrapped up. All the teams played at once today in the classic final group phase round. And there are kind of some surprises that
Kind of.
resulted in like anti-surprise, basically, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
The teams
Exactly.
the teams you'd expect ended up sneaking in there, but we'll come on to that.
Yeah, yeah, talk about that table.
Yeah, so we'll see who gets a bye and moves into the round of 16. We'll talk about everyone that's playing in this sort of wild card knockout round. Quick scan at who didn't make it through at all. Like I said, there ended up not being a ton of surprises there. Uh,
No.
Yeah. Also in this episode, we'll just it's been a few days since Premier League match day, but we'll
Yeah,
take a look back at the state of the Prem since we didn't do an episode on the weekend.
there's enough drama to talk about, I believe.
Oh yeah, definitely. Manchester City have clawed their way back into the top four after a disastrous run of form that seems to be coming to an end.
Seems to be.
And Tottenham relegation talk is heating up. Big Ange still at the wheel, and they are
Shocking.
not finding solutions yet.
No,
Elsewhere,
no solutions.
Bournemouth played Newcastle in the story of the season derby, and I think Bournemouth proved once and for all that they're the story of the season, not Nottingham Forest. Did I say Nottingham Forest or Newcastle?
You said Newcastle. They did thump Newcastle, I think, in the last episode we talked about them.
That's funny. My notes here
Uh,
say Forest, and that's what I meant to say.
Sleepy episode. But yeah, they thumped who everybody's surprise team so far, Forest.
I don't think Forest have taken a beating like that this year.
Not
Even
by
when they've
anybody.
lost against big teams, it's been a grind.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to see them get thumped by Bournemouth, what a statement by Uraiola.
Yeah, he's really gonna hold that club up there, drag them up the table.
They're looking good. Their offense is really clicking. We'll talk about that too. And
Yes.
yeah, folks, that is episode 72. Before we get into all of that, be sure to follow us on Instagram, Soccer Situations Podcast. That's for Instagram and Threads. I don't know why Threads isn't getting any love. Everyone's desperate for a non-X or non-Twitter solution, but people don't want to be lame and go to Blue Sky because that's for dorks. I mean,
Right?
it's essentially like the live version of Truth Social. It's like, why do you want to
Yeah.
live in that much of an echo chamber? What's the point?
Yeah,
But
that's not the
Threads
point of the
is right
internet.
there being semi. I know it's Zuckerberg and Meta, but I mean, everyone
Yeah.
uses Instagram. If you're already on the gram, why not just move to Threads for your Twitter style needs?
You would think. You
You
would
know?
think it's a pretty obvious solution.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do hate the whole Truth Network and now Blue Sky.
Yeah.
Like, what are we coming to, people?
Gillis is calling it Blueski.
Blueski?
Blueski's pretty funny.
That is good. That's good stuff.
Um, we're also on TikTok. TikTok's still here, folks. I hear it was
TikTok's
down for
around for
like
now.
8 hours. Actually,
I
there
don't
was
even think it was that long. I think it was like an hour or so.
the morning when it was restored, I was working, and there was a girl in the cafe whose account had been shut down, and she was
Yeah,
furious. All her friends were reactivated, and hers wasn't reactivated yet.
really.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, did the ban happen?" And I pulled out my phone, and I was like, "No, TikTok's working." And she was
That
like, "What the
TikTok works fine.
hell? Everybody's got it back except me."
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, so folks, TikTok at Soccer Situations.
Uh, yeah. I heard what the latest is Microsoft are trying to buy it.
Yeah, that's the news I saw today as well, Alex. Way to stay on top of
It's
tech news. This is Alex,
tech
your tech
news,
news
dude.
reporter.
I'm always on that. I'm on my news tips, even though I hate it more than
Yes.
anything being. I don't want to be informed, but I am.
You know what Alex loves most of all, though, folks? YouTube. Check us out on YouTube at Soccer Situations as well. And yeah, folks, even if you don't listen to the podcast on YouTube, even if you're an audio only person, go in there and give us a little subscribe, give us a like, leave a comment, and prove to the algorithm that we exist.
We are here.
And lastly, another good place to do that is at Apple Podcasts. Get in there and leave us a review. That is mega, mega helpful as well. Okay. That's it for all of the social media admin plugs.
So many of them. Just wait till
Um,
we add Blueski.
I was going to say, we only partake in a few of the
I
many.
know we're old men. We keep it tight.
It feels like a lot because I don't usually plug any, or definitely not all of the ones that we do, but that is it. That is all of them.
Right?
Yeah, primarily Instagram and YouTube, folks. But yeah,
Yeah.
check us out.
Todd, you're not getting it right now, but I think my camera angle might be getting a little gravy action down here to my left.
Oh, Little Gravers. I saw him pop into the last episode when I was editing. I don't think I saw that when we were filming either. But
He's actually, I think he's laying like perfectly in the camera off to my left here,
love,
getting belly rubs.
excellent, dude. Gravy is huge for our YouTube numbers. Any kind of gravy
That's how we
appearance.
boost our content right
Yeah,
there.
you know he's going in the thumbnail.
Mr. Gravy.
Yeah. Yeah, how the boys doing? Every picture you send, I'm like, God, that's so Twigs and Gravy. Twigs
They're
just
so
being
funny,
a chill
dude.
dude, and Gravy being a little intense dude, being like, you're snuggling me, bitch.
They're doing good. Yeah, they're definitely settled in here. Gravy's still got this dry skin patch thing going on,
Oh, no.
but I got him on some salmon oil right now, and it seems to be helping.
Oh, that's good.
I went and got him a fresh bottle of salmon oil.
I've had dry skin too, Gravy. I live in an arid climate now, and I keep forgetting it. I'm not hydrating enough. I've started like carrying around a bottle of CeraVe lotion because seriously, my skin is always so dry, dude. My
I mean, that's
hands and
how
my
it is
face.
here, but only
Yep.
this time of year.
Yeah. Just in the winter.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Uh,
we're all suffering with dryness right now.
yeah.
The whole clan.
Yeah, it was so satisfying when LA got dumped on, dude. We got heavy rain like Saturday night all through Sunday.
How
It's
many did you see influencers in the street making videos dancing in the rain?
no, were there? I bet you there were though.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sure there were. It'd be so funny to look out your window and see like a row of people out in front of their houses making TikTok videos
Yeah.
dancing in the rain with LA getting rain finally.
Yeah. Especially if they're doing like cool, like racist, like rain dances, dude. Like tribal rain
Just
dances.
totally just completely just idiotic influencer stuff. Like not
Yeah.
even realizing that they're being offensive.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like girls at Coachella in 2007 wearing like full Indian headdresses and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Ugh,
Oh boy, do we
good
dive right into
stuff.
the soccer situations? I feel like I had something else to talk to you
Yeah, what
about.
else is going on out there? Well, you went to the Doug Benson
Oh
show.
yeah, saw a live podcast taping. Which, first of all,
Sorry, Gravy.
hopefully in the future, Doug and I don't become best friends, and he goes back and listens to this because he's been doing that podcast since 2008, and I didn't know that Doug Benson had a movie podcast. How up my alley is that? I mean, I love movie
Is it
podcasts. I love
getting
Doug Benson.
what's it called again?
It's called Doug Loves Movies.
Doug's Love Movie. Okay. What's his
Yeah,
other podcast called? Is it Getting High with Doug?
getting Doug with
Or
high.
Getting Doug with High? That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting High with Doug be too on the nose.
Yeah, which is funny actually. That's relevant because that was one of the first I feel like celebrity things I ever saw Beth do. I remember seeing her on Getting Dug with High a long, long time ago when she just moved out to LA and was getting started.
I'll say, like, I didn't realize he had a movie podcast, but I
Hmm.
remember, like, as far as the podcast game goes, I remember his name coming up very, very early in the podcast game.
Yeah, he's
He was
super old
definitely
school.
one of the first up there.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel bad. I didn't really. I mean, I guess I knew that at one point, but I didn't really realize it. Because yeah, Getting Dug with High is really, really old school too.
It's super. That's been that was like one of the first podcasts I remember hearing of.
Yeah, and I guess Doug Loves Movies is the same. It's been going since like
The same
2008.
time.
When you go, it's like you're at goddamn Rocky Horror Picture Show. There's like audience callbacks to things that he says. People just start screaming stuff and chanting, and I'm just like,
Really,
wow,
he's got
this
like
is kind of a
like a
lot.
cult following there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a whole thing.
That's awesome, dude.
But
I mean, I like
yeah.
Doug Benson. He's a funny dude.
Oh, dude, he's so funny. He's really funny. And him and Beth actually had a pretty funny rapport too. The
Nice.
podcast takes kind of the form of a game show. He just makes up stupid little like quiz games for his guests, loosely movie based,
Okay.
and it's really really silly. And Beth didn't know anything about any of the movies in question, and they had some funny beef over that.
That's classic. I love that. That's like
Yeah.
you and me having talking about movies and TV here.
But yeah, it was super fun. Zach Galifianakis was on the panel too. It's super funny, unbelievably handsome in real life. He was dressed really cool.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah,
He
he's
did
kind of
seem like he could be a sly, handsome man.
yeah, his jawline's a little chiseled these days,
Ooh, keeping
and
it tight.
yeah, he's kind of getting his gray silver fox era, but has cool long bushy hair still. But yeah,
Hell yeah.
yeah, cool guy.
Yeah, that's an epic crew of people right there.
Yeah, and Guy Branum too. Do you know Guy Branum?
I don't know.
He's on. It's funny because I only knew him from podcasts. He guests on a lot of podcasts that I like. He's an LA comic, kind of like a prissy queen in the style of like say a Mateo Lane, just very
Okay.
gay male comic in a funny way.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, I fully expected him to be like kind of a little twink like Mateo, but he's one of the biggest men I've ever seen, dude. He's like the kingpin. So
Really?
that was a surprise. He's
Yeah,
huge.
Plus,
Anyway,
yeah, that's shocking when you're looking for a Mateo type.
right. Well, on to the soccer,
Yeah, I guess we can move on to soccer now.
right? Yeah, folks, Champions League episode, as we said. Um,
just wrapping up literally moments ago.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess
exactly.
it's been a little bit now, but
We're moving into the knockout
hours
rounds
ago.
here. The real, I don't know, the most exciting soccer I think that exists.
How do you feel about the fact that we had the break and then we came back and finished the table?
It's odd.
Doesn't it feel like you should finish the table, then have the break, and then come back to the knockouts?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty odd too. Um,
I like was it was confusing in my brain where we were going into the break and I kept thinking I was like, wait, is it done? Is the table done now? But they kept talking about the next round of games and I was like, that's a weird time to take the Champions League break.
yeah, I guess they haven't really figured out the calendar. You have to remember, I think we've said, and a lot of people at this point are acknowledging that the new format is a lot of fun and people tend to like it more, but it
Yeah,
is technically, I mean, it's there to squeeze in extra games. There were two more games in the group phase, the
yeah,
league phase now. So, yeah, it's not, I guess, a total surprise that the calendar's a little off.
yeah, it makes sense. With
But
that
yeah, it
fact,
was slightly awkward, definitely.
yeah, it just didn't make in my mind. I'm like, I wonder if that's something they'll if they can adjust, try and adjust in the future.
Yeah, we'll see. This is the first year of this iteration. So yeah, we had a table of 36 teams. The top eight get a bye
Get a bye.
straight on to the round of 16. Congratulations, Alex. Arsenal have made it.
Bam,
Did you finish
in
third
there.
overall?
Third overall. Yep,
Pretty respectable. Right
not bad,
behind
not bad.
Barcelona and table toppers Liverpool. After
I'll take it.
today's
I'll take it.
results, I think the more interesting bits were going on down at the bottom end of the top eight. We have
Pull the
Lille,
table up.
Bayern Leverkusen, and Aston Villa sneaking into the top eight.
Yeah,
That's
congratulations, Villa, sneaking in there.
yeah, absolutely. Same to Lille. Lille's a good team, and Xabi Alonso's Leverkusen. Yeah, all in the round of 16. Pretty exciting stuff. Um, then moving on to ninth through 24th place. This is where it gets pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
A bonus knockout round. I thought for sure that they would seed them just as it was, say first, last,
That's
second
how.
verse, second to last, and so forth.
Are they reseeding based on Champions League or whatever the European,
So
what do
it
they
looks
call
like
it, quotient or?
they're doing a draw out of like every two spots, it seems like. So the top four, 1 and 2 are going to be drawn, and 3 and 4 are going to be drawn.
Okay.
It's confusing, and I'm just like, I feel like UEFA would only do this just so they have another chance to like fix matches and set them up the way they want to be set up.
Right, right.
Like for instance, I think the most interesting potential draw is 21st and 22nd place, Celtic and Manchester City. I have a graphic I'll throw up here to make this more clear to people.
Cool.
And versus 11th place or 12th place, Real Madrid or Bayern Munich. So Manchester City are going to play Madrid or Bayern one way or
Yeah,
the other, and Celtic get the other one. Uh, that's a fun draw no matter what, pretty much. But again,
yeah.
why didn't they just arrange them according to like proper
You would think
rankings,
it's like
right?
top bottom,
Like a
top bottom.
typical playoff would be like 1v8, 2v7, 3v6, so
Yeah,
forth. It would have been
you would
very easy to
think.
do that, but they have these little mystery draws going on. Um, Other potentially interesting lineups. We could have Juventus versus Milan. That's pretty
All
cool. And
Italian
if that one
battle.
works out, that same bracket will give us Feyenoord versus PSV. So we'll have Dutch and Italian
Ooh,
derbies there. That'd be fun. Hopefully
that actually
UEFA
would be
puts the
fun.
fix in to make that happen.
Yeah, yes. When the fix works out in the fans' favor, you can tend to complain less.
Yeah, this is it's entertainment, right? This is
For the neutral
essentially
fans,
this
anyway.
is like WWE of soccer, basically, is what the
It's
Champions
true.
League is.
It's true. It's
By the way, WWE, have you noticed it is just moving it to Netflix? It seems like such a genius move in hindsight. Absolutely
yeah,
massive.
right,
Yeah.
dude. I see WWE stuff everywhere now. I
It
feel like
feels
it's
like it's bigger
definitely
than
in a
ever,
prime resurgence right now. Like it's really in its a big moment, which I
right?
like it.
Yeah.
Wrestling's. I mean, we got caught up in that Royal Rumble back back not long ago.
The Ladies Royal Rumble, how
The
good was
ladies Royal
that?
Rumble,
Like
by
2
the
years
way,
ago, I think.
was, you might be saying two dudes saying, of course, oh, the ladies' Royal Rumble's better. But as a pure entertainment factor, it was miles better than the men's.
Oh, it absolutely was. Look, I'm not trying to lust after
Now,
professional
most of
wrestling
them,
ladies.
these
A
women
cutie
are
would pop out every now and
jacked.
then, but most of them are absolutely terrifying, you know?
My
But
favorite thing about
spectacular
wrestling is
entertainers.
when the cuties do pop up, usually they come flying into the ring and like a giant just throws them out the other side of the ring.
They get wrecked
That's the
instantly.
classic wrestling. They just get whopped out the other side again.
I feel like one like literally didn't even make it in. She came in, came over the ropes, got caught,
And
and
they
just
just
tossed out.
threw her
Like didn't
back
even
off
set her
again.
feet down in the ring. I want to go back and watch that. I think that's on demand somewhere. They used to be on
It
Peacock,
was
although
truly
now
a great Royal Rumble.
yeah, yeah, it was so fun. Really, I love we're talking about the Champions League, diverting to WWE.
WWE, ladies WWE in particular.
Ladies in particular, yeah, we're equal opportunists here, even if
Dude,
Trump isn't going to force us to be anymore.
yeah, fucker.
But yeah,
This is
so
how we
like I said,
fight.
we could have a possible, like I said, Italian derby in Juve v Milan. We could have Feyenoord versus PSV. We could have Man City versus Madrid. We're gonna have either Man City versus Madrid or Bayern
Or
Munich. That's
Bayern.
huge, no
So
matter
two
what,
giants are facing off either way.
right? And
Obviously,
we could have a French battle as well. We're going to have Monaco or Brest versus PSG. So,
love
cool
it.
stuff, you know.
I love it.
The bracket I haven't mentioned is Sporting or Club Bruges versus
Club
Atalanta
Brugge.
or Dortmund. Um, you know,
Yeah, that
there's
one's
not
not as
there's not an
eye-catching.
obvious storyline there,
No,
although I think,
no shade on obviously Atalanta and Dortmund up there in ninth and 10th. That's pretty
of course.
good performances so far in the Champions League, but
Yeah,
not gonna jump out the headlines when those other ones are potentials.
right. So Alex, yeah, how do you feel about Arsenal's chances in the round of 16?
I like. I mean, honestly, it's funny. I kind of feel like this could be if it's a year so far where we have performed better in Europe than in the league. Uh, for the first time in a very, very long time for Arsenal, where I've felt better about our Champions League performances versus our league performances. And yeah, it's starting to give me a little bit of hope. Maybe the Champions League could be our silver lining this year if our league campaign falls apart.
Yeah,
Like a even just a good run, like a deep run would make me happy.
yeah, for sure. I've been there plenty of times. It will heal some wounds,
Yeah.
you know.
And the boys seem up for it. They seem like they also agree that they want a Champions League badly.
That's good. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that, you know. Yeah, yeah, it would make sense that they do. I think a lot of times players do prefer it, especially if they're foreign players playing in an
Yeah,
English league. The Champions League it's the top table still.
yeah. I think most players see it as the premier competition. Because obviously the Premier League's fun, but like, yeah, we just get to see all these other European powerhouses. Like, what can go wrong with that?
Yeah, there's a little bit less predictability. You know, you get a different
Yeah,
set of refs, so the games get called differently. It just feels a
it's
little
true.
wilder. You know,
Yeah, the refs are noticeably different in Europe, which is fun. It does
for
make the
sure.
game feel a lot different.
Yeah, they whistle a lot more than Premier League refs do.
Yeah, they
And
do.
we can come to talk about some Premier League refs a little bit later in this
Yeah,
episode.
there's some other yeah, definitely a couple headlines there.
Yeah, for sure. Um, just one last before we move on from the Champions League, I'll just go through the table and talk about teams that were eliminated. Again, there ended up not being any huge surprises at the beginning of the day. Manchester City were sitting in 25th. That would have been the stunning one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of Slavs.
Yeah.
Dinamo. Uh,
I, I know. Now I kind of wish we would have let Dinamo win, so City would have gotten knocked out.
right? Yeah, you couldn't spare him some points, Alex. Is
Could have
third
gave
place really
Dinamo a
worth
win
it?
there.
Um, but yeah, young boys are out. Salzburg and Leipzig both notably out.
Yeah.
Bologna, Shakhtar Donetsk. You would expect a Turkish team maybe to sneak into the knockouts. Do we have one?
They tend
Um,
to sneak one in usually, I feel like.
yeah, we do not have a Turkish team in there. Uh, yeah, I think honestly we've made fun of this being like the Super League that everyone hated, but this is
Yeah,
kind of why I think UEFA, in a negative sense, why they wanted this league format. Because if you add more matches and put it in a league format, it is going to be more likely to shake out that eventually the teams that quote unquote should be in there
will
will
be.
take
Yeah.
at least just one. I mean, look at City's form, dude. Loss, draw, loss, loss, and then just a win on the last day was enough for them
Is
to squeak
enough.
through. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it does. It definitely does make it a lot harder on these small clubs to have like kind of a fairy tale run in the cup.
Yeah, you need to have an actual run of form, not just snatch like one match. You know?
Yeah. Yep.
But
But I
anyway,
mean, yeah,
that,
you
I
see
thought,
why they do it. It makes sense, and it's also a little sad at the same time.
yeah, for sure. Well, let's get off the Champions League for now. We'll come back to that on Friday. Well, probably. I have to look at my schedule and see when we're going to record again. I forgot. I don't really get days off right now.
Yeah, your schedule's all over the place.
Yeah, but next episode, the Champions League draw for that knockout phase will have happened. So we'll revisit that and talk
We'll
about
have some
that.
stuff to discuss
But for
there.
now, let's move on to the Prem. Last match week, we had some big results. We don't need to rehash them as if they're fresh news, but
Yeah, of
let's
course.
talk about Bournemouth 5, Nottingham Forest nil.
This is
Incredible
it's
statement win from Bournemouth. We've been
weird.
talking Bournemouth up again recently, resurgently,
Uh-huh.
and
Weird to say, but this is like so far this is one of the shock results of the season.
I think so too. Because Forest have not looked like giving up a 5-0.
No, never. No, they look like a team that they're just I mean, we've been talking them up so much. They're up in the table for a reason. They're hard to score against. They can hit you on the counter. They got some lethal finishers. Like they're an all-around good team. This doesn't happen to teams like that.
Right. And yeah, even though there's been a gap in the table between them, we've kind of pitched them directly against Bournemouth as the underdog story of the season.
Yeah.
And this huge win actually puts Bournemouth within 4 points of them, really
Yeah.
closing the gap.
Yeah, Bournemouth literally was just like, all right, you guys want to talk about Nottingham Forest, huh? Like, don't forget about us. We're still here ripping it up down here. They put out
Trust
that
us,
was a
Cherries.
serious
We
statement.
haven't. We have not forgotten about you. And man, their offense, dude. Like Justin Kluivert looked so good again. He hit an absolute banger. He had another incredible goal ruled out for a slight offsides. That was unlucky. And yeah,
Yes, it's
they,
kind of surprising, right? That I mean, I know you said that Arsenal should be looking at him. It's kind of surprised that his name hasn't been thrown around at all in this
right.
window.
I can't really speak to that. I assume that has something to do with his contract situation. It must be on a really fresh one.
Yeah,
But across their front line, Wataru Dango too, uh, from Burkina Faso, he had an incredible goal. That actually he had a hat trick that match. What am I saying?
yeah, I
He
think he was the hat trick. We'll get yeah, he's another hat trick. His back-to-back hat trick games, two
yeah,
different players.
and Antoine Semenyo also had a goal that game. So they're getting goals from all over their front line. You got Luis Sinisterra being the man out. I think a couple years ago was considered their highest.
They're like star player.
Yeah, or at least highest potential player. They were really looking to him, and it's crazy how they low key built a really, really balanced, threatening attack here.
Yeah, the front three is amazing.
They snuck it right under our noses, dude.
They really did. They really did. They put it together quickly. Like suddenly, like it was like, oh wait, all three of these guys can produce.
Yeah, Bournemouth, cool stuff. Uh, You'd love
Yeah,
to see
I'm
it.
honestly, I'm happy that they're not going to get poached in January. I like to see a story like that play out all the way before a poor team like that gets gutted
Yeah, same, dude.
by the big dogs.
Yeah, absolutely. Last week we
You're good.
talked about the thinness of their squad and the sort of lack of experience in their bench and how easily they could a couple injuries could derail this season. I really
Yeah,
hope that doesn't happen because I want to see them finish at a European place. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
it'd be really fun. It'd be fun to see what Ariel can do with this a little bit of extra cash if he can find a couple signings with this squad.
Yeah, that'll be a real test of their sporting director because they would definitely they'll have to do some Nottingham Forest style shopping if they get into Europe, buy
I
a
would
dozen
not,
players
yeah,
in a window.
I wouldn't want to see what would happen to them if they tried to go in with a squad like this.
No, yeah, it'd be
To
trouble, especially if they get down and if they just qualify for like the conference league, because you are traveling to the furthest stretches of Eastern Europe. You know, you're like
yeah,
climbing mountains in Kazakhstan and going to the Balkans and shit
yeah, it's
in
rough.
that league. Um, you know,
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't know
sorry to
if
pet you.
they would be able to survive. They wouldn't be able to survive a league campaign again, I think, if that was the case without a heavy amount of signings.
No, no, for sure. They would need massive expansion there. Let's move on to Manchester City 3, Chelsea 1, whenever you get back to the seat.
I just wanted to make sure my phone rang. I forgot to put it on airplane mode, so I wanted to make sure the camera's still going.
I love that. I love that for us, Alex. Let me go ahead and check mine too while we're at it. Still looks pretty good. Um, yeah, dude, Manchester City, we thought they were going to free fall forever. Sadly, they've clawed their way back up into the top four with a couple of wins, including over Chelsea, who we were talking about in a title race not too long ago.
Chelsea in a bit of a free fall at the moment.
Yeah, it's super funny, right?
Yeah, and we
It's
we were bigging them up a lot. I guess if we just start bigging up City again, maybe they'll fall off again.
I actually really thought that City might drop the ball in the Champions League today and get eliminated, despite their recently good form. I think they're unbeaten in 5 in the Premier League now, with Arsenal on the horizon.
Yes,
I thought that this would be another little banana peel for them today. So
right?
sadly not. Um,
UEFA couldn't let it happen.
yeah, I guess we'll just have to eliminate it. I guess we'll do it ourselves, you know.
Yeah, right.
I would like to see City in the draw. I wouldn't mind that. I don't know if we can. I don't know the way the rules play out now. If you can play someone from your own league in the round of 16,
Right?
but I hope we can. And yeah, I'd
It'd
smack
be
them around. I'm
fun.
still
That'd be a
confident
fun
there.
team to knock out.
Yeah. But
League form though. I mean, they went what 6-0 and then a 3-1 win over Chelsea.
is that their last couple
I
results? Oh
think
yeah,
their
that
last
six
two
nil at
results.
Ipswich, and
Yeah,
then
against Ipswich, who are also a hard team to break down.
yeah, and then looking just kind of like old school City, confident against Chelsea. You know,
Yep.
like they hadn't just had this huge blip. Chelsea definitely stumbling. That so I guess we could comfort ourselves by saying that result might be more of Chelsea than
That's true.
City.
Chelsea have been in bad form before this match, so yeah, we can comfort ourselves in saying City aren't fully resurgent yet. We'll
But
see against Arsenal.
but yeah, sadly they are back in the top four, and if Forest continue to drop points, this top four could sadly look a lot more traditional very soon
Yeah, it
than the
might
kind of
shake out.
unpredictable fun one that we've had for most of this season. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah, the fairy tale might be coming to an end. Let's hope not, but it
Yeah, we'll
could be.
see. I mean, there's still interesting stuff happening. Obviously, Forest, nothing. They haven't fallen away yet. We shouldn't
No,
prematurely predict their
one result.
demise. We still
Yeah,
got
they're not going to
Newcastle there
crumble.
on the outskirts. I suppose they're technically a surprise in the top four, although they're technically also the richest club in the world. So is that
Yeah,
fun?
yeah. Is it a surprise? Should it be a surprise?
No. Yeah, pretty quickly, the fun one to keep an eye on for me is to rewind a little bit. Bournemouth, there, 40 points. Just just 1 point out of the top four. Good God.
They could crawl their way back in there quick.
Yeah. Come on, Bournemouth. Let's go. Uh,
Yeah, I would love that.
right? Okay, let's talk Arsenal 1 Wolves nil, Alex. This was a fun one for you, right?
Huge result. Yeah,
Another yeah.
obviously a highly dramatic game.
Another game hijacked by referee stories. Just
Yeah.
happens sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of videos I've watched in the past few days of just people ranting about this Michael Oliver call. Uh, it's crazy. Actually, that's funny. I watched a 7-minute clip of Talk Sport for the first time probably ever. and I'll say talk sport. I see why at least the Arsenal podcast and things I listen to talk so much shit about it.
They hate him.
Well, it's just, I mean, in this particular clip, they were on Arsenal's side with Michael Oliver
Okay.
being an idiot, but it was just like too old. I think it's Ally McCoy's, right? Is that Ally McCoy's?
On Talksport, I'm honestly
Yeah,
not sure, but that
but it's
sounds about right.
basically
That does sound right.
two ancient old
Yeah.
geezers
Yeah.
and like a woman who was basically just had the seemingly the same mindset as them. But I was just like, gee, like this is British like media right here. I feel like this is
Sure.
British football media, like the generic football media.
Yeah, I know. I do feel like Talksport will throw literally any former public football figure
Yeah,
on as a pundit and listen to their opinions. You know,
yeah,
like I feel like that was probably the realm of Joey Barton when he used to just be like spouting idiocy all the
just
time. You know.
nonsense. Exactly. Yeah, it's kind of like our Fox News over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like saying outrageous things for the attention and to get
Yeah.
people riled up.
Yeah. Just giving any old idiot a platform. You know.
But no, they were like everyone was agree. I think everybody basically. I've seen maybe one person that didn't agree that that was a huge error by Michael Oliver. Obviously, we're talking about Miles Lewis Skelly getting sent off
Yeah.
with a straight red card for one of the most baffling decisions I've ever seen.
Yeah. Pretty straightforward tactical foul, like just outside his own 18-yard box.
Yeah, yeah, something you see literally every match.
Yeah.
There's one of those, at least one of those in every single match, and it's always a yellow card. And the player who does it knows it's coming. Everybody in the ground knows the yellow is coming. Like
Yeah.
even the Wolves fans celebrated it, but like you could even tell by their like reaction that they were shocked.
They're like, oh, it's a red. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
they were
old
like,
move.
"Oh, that's funny."
Yeah, it's a surprise. Uh,
Um,
yeah, I mean, we should say also Mikel Arteta has come out in defense of Michael Oliver, more
yeah,
so in opposition to abusing referees, I guess.
yes, which I
Then,
mean is a good. It was a good move on Mikel's part.
yeah, you
Um,
kind of have to, I guess. But then again, like there was that leaked email, I think, from the league that was asking presenters and pundits to not criticize the refs because the conversation was becoming so toxic.
right?
And I hate that because that's just like classic censorship. It's like, well, it's becoming this
Yeah,
toxic because that's just reality and someone
because
needs
it's
to
a
talk about
problem.
it,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Um, yeah, and like the one thing I'll say that Talksport video I was watching, they were saying it's no pun. Like he got his gate. Like they moved him from the City Ars. He was supposed to referee City Arsenal, which
Insane.
if that was the case, I would have been fuming. But like his only punishment for that was he got moved to the Ipswich match instead.
Yeah, of course.
Like and they were saying like that's not a punishment. He's still managing a Premier League match.
Yeah.
How is that a punishment?
Yeah, I mean, they probably don't even want to acknowledge that it's a punishment. They're probably just saying it's something blah, 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 public outcry.
Yeah.
But, they're going to stand by Michael Oliver. They did after the fact. They said they stood by his decision. The referee, Old Boys Club, that gets to investigate themselves,
Yep.
you know? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, dude, the whole situation sucks. I mean, the fact that we're not supposed to acknowledge that he gets paid by the city ownership group on the side way, way more than he gets paid by the Premier League, it should be noted. Like that would be
Yes.
his primary income.
Yep.
And
Refing probably eighth of the games that he has to in the Premier League.
yeah, and it's not just that side payment, it's that statistics bear it out.
Yeah.
He
It's
loves
there
to
to be
throw out
seen.
random erratic red cards all over the place and never ever against Manchester City.
I was gonna say all for most teams, some more than others, but most teams other literally zero red cards against Man City.
Yeah.
Every other team are red cards against them.
Yeah. The memes this week making the rounds, the image of the Premier League website's official
Yeah, I
guide
saw
to
it.
high-footed challenges, which was Manchester City's Jeremy Doku kicking Alexis McAllister in the rib cage pretty clearly.
Studs up in
Um,
the ribs.
Yeah, everyone was laughing at that being used in the reference book because that was not deemed a foul. Guess by who, Alex? Michael Oliver ref that game. That's what I was a little annoyed. None of the memes mentioned that in particular. That it was
Yeah,
Michael
right.
Oliver that
It
didn't
was
make that
literally
call,
him.
who
Yeah,
declined to make that call. Yeah,
yeah. No, he's the fact that he can still even officiate and like is looked at as one of the best officials in England is shocking.
yeah,
Like that's the kind of thing that you can't help but just, like the whole thing reeks of corruption.
for sure. The refs association, it needs an overhaul. It's such an obvious old boys club. It's
Yeah,
it's
and
bad
now you
news.
have these refs getting paid by ownership groups of clubs. Like all that stuff's got to go.
Yeah. Also, Premier League, come on. You make so much money. Can you just pay your refs enough that they don't have to get side gigs that might potentially corrupt them?
Yeah, you're the biggest league in the world.
Yeah. What do they
You
make?
should
Did
be
I
able to
read they make like 3,500 a game or something, or maybe even like 1,500 a game or something like that?
like
I
that's
think it's like a
obscene.
regular like working man's paycheck. You know?
It's like a like ref here in America.
Yeah, yeah,
What the hell? That's nuts.
yeah. The whole situation is just sleazy. Speaking of sleazy, David Coote was in the news today or this week.
Oh, Cooter's back.
Alex, you coined it. You nailed it. I gotta say, I'm not just dumping on you because it's a potential controversial take, but yeah. How did you call this news, Alex? That David Coote said
Use
that
this.
he was under pressure because he was hiding his gay.
He's hiding the fact that he's gay. He said he used the Kevin Spacey defense.
He did.
When Kevin Spacey, everyone was coming out against him, but he was like, "But wait, I'm gay."
Yeah, and he really thought that would relieve all the pressure, right?
Oh, he's gay. Oh, we're so sorry. We don't want
It's
to
it's
offend
a
you.
perfect call. David Coote is using the Spacey defense. Um,
Yeah.
it's like I said, it could be a really hot take. The idea that
Yes.
us two straight guys would understand what kind of pressure he was under,
Of
hiding
course.
his sexuality. How can we laugh at him? But again, look back at what a sleazeball he was being in the
Yes.
videos in question. And also, he was out to his friends and family. So in his personal life, he was already out. How much
He
pressure
was.
is there really on you if in your personal
If
life
all of your person, I
your
mean,
friends and family are you're out to them? I mean,
yeah,
a lot of it doesn't quite add up. I feel like that is where most. I mean, obviously, he would face homophobic comments in the Premier
no,
League
that's
from
the thing
fans.
is
Of
like
course, he would.
reading more of the article and looking into and like, yeah, I understand 100% where he's coming from.
Yeah,
Like as far as he's terrified to come out as a gay man in that league and in that profession because he would be destroyed by fan groups all over because
yeah,
sadly there's a lot of homophobic and racists in soccer fandom still.
yeah.
Uh, but like it doesn't excuse being a asshole, like being a piece of shit human.
No, definitely not.
Like you can't just use that as a defense of being an asshole.
Yeah, and also, like, I feel like cocaine isn't really like the I'm hiding from reality kind of drug. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's the most I'm out there, I'm gonna yell and make a scene drug of all time.
Yeah, right. Uh, yeah, it just doesn't quite track. Not to
Yeah, like
further
I said,
dunk on a man
we
but
feel for him in like it was, yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of stress in that environment being a gay man, but at the same time,
I kind
come
of
on,
feel
man.
for him. I gotta say, the
Come on, man.
asshole in me this feels just like he hired a consultant that
Yeah,
came
this
up
feels
with
like a
like
PR
this is
firm
how to
move.
pitch it, dude. You're gonna have to put yourself back out there in public. This is a good way to
Yeah.
take a lump. You'll get people won't be able to dunk on you too hard unless it's
Nope.
soccersituations.com. They probably will. Um,
They'll say it. They'll say what no one in the British media is gonna say.
But yeah, Alex, I loved that. I loved that take that it was the Spacey
Ugh,
defense.
it was cracking me up. I mean, I saw the headline and it popped in my head immediately. I was like, uh-oh.
I just don't think you can use it as defense. I mean, the Premier League, I suppose, is the one space you could still use that as a defense because homophobia still reigns in the discourse in
Yeah,
in social media. But I
yeah,
like outside of that, I'm like, bro, it's more popular to be gay than straight these days. Honestly, like, don't act
yeah.
like hiding this is like a huge stress for you. Okay.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, that's probably a terrible take. Sorry, folks.
Ah, yeah.
Let's move on to transfers, Alex. The window is closing up quick.
It's closing real quick.
You getting nervous? Arteta has said that Arsenal are actively looking for a striker. Now,
Yeah.
have they bid for Ollie Watkins officially?
So they did officially bid for Watkins. I've heard from like good sources but they've basically been denied, and had it any chance of it happening pulled out from under them almost immediately by John Duran being linked to a Saudi move.
Yeah.
Because there's no way Villa's selling two strikers in January.
No, definitely not. And that made me want to ask, is John Duran to Saudi, is that a missed opportunity for Arsenal? We've seen, I guess, only a little of him, but
Yeah,
he came through with such big goals, and we never really. I guess, do you have to trust that there's a reason Unai didn't give him a run in the team, even when he was
maybe.
getting those big late goals?
Honestly, and I don't know what this is, I don't know what it is, but my gut when I saw the link, because we were linked with him very briefly, for like 80 million.
Mm.
And at that price point, my gut was saying I'd rather us hold out to the summer and buy somebody we really want.
I guess,
Uh,
yeah, if you're bidding against Saudi teams that are going to pay in that kind of range.
yeah, if they're gonna get 80 plus million for him, I don't know if I trust that enough to spend that kind of money.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um, the Watkins thing excites me, but then, like I said, if the Saudis are swooping for Duran and Villa are gonna let him go, that's pretty much dead in the water.
Sure.
Um,
Um, Brighton have put Evan Ferguson in the shop window.
I saw this, and I've seen shockingly few headlines linking us with him.
Was he really just a flash in the pan, maybe?
Man, I'll be mad at myself if he is, because I called him very early being a real deal striker.
You did. And I have to say, for that season, he looked Harry Kane-esque in just terms of what a complete player he was, you know?
Exactly, like his physicality, his touch, his finishing. I felt like he had it all.
It didn't look fluky at all.
Mm-mm.
Like, not even slightly so.
No,
So
no, he
that's a
was
little bit of an
consistent
odd
all
one.
year.
Obviously, Brighton are finding goals from all over the place, so they don't need him.
Yeah,
But it's still, I mean, that club has run so well, you also have to think they wouldn't be letting him go if they still saw potential there.
yeah, you wouldn't think so.
You got to
Um,
question, like,
is
what
there
strings are
something
attached
wrong
right
there?
there? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, is there an injury they don't know? Like they're not being honest about, or
Right? Classic Liverpool selling a broken Torres. Yeah, 50 million, we'll take it. That was big money at
yeah,
the time.
that knee's never gonna be the same again.
Right?
Oh man.
Oh, I love you, Fernando. I'm sorry to laugh at your misfortune.
Yeah, I mean he had beautiful moments. He still had a great career.
Torres is my first true love in soccer, honestly. I thought I
Yeah,
liked players until then, but that was like love, you know?
yeah, I get that one. I was
Yeah.
very jealous of him at that time in his
That's like
career.
where you're an adult with like a poster of a man on your wall kind of love, you know? I
Yeah,
don't care.
exactly.
I don't care, girlfriend, if you don't like it. Get out of here.
Yeah, he's staying.
Don't make me sing the song to you again. Probably still the best Liverpool song, actually, player song too.
That is honestly, it's still one of my favorite player chants of all time.
Absolutely iconic. Yeah. Sorry, what were we talking about? Not Liverpool. Oh yeah, Watkins, John
we were talking
Duran.
transfers, but we were kind of talking Arsenal transfers in particular because it seems like we're one of the only clubs truly active in the market right now.
Yeah, I'm definitely not seeing much action from Liverpool. City have made their moves already. There's
Yep.
not a lot of big news, honestly, at the moment.
No,
Um,
it's weird because like
Manchester
usually I'm
United are
tunnel.
mopping up Arsenal academy players.
Yeah, that's an interesting one actually. Uh, I shot back immediately and said that if he's willing to go to that mess, he's not at our level. But I don't know. Honestly, I'll say this: players who have gone and left our academy in these ways,
Mhm.
not one of them has come good yet. So
Yeah.
I'll take solace in that.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Especially, it just seems weird to leave a club that's doing more than most clubs at our level with academy talent, like bringing them into the first team. We're
Yeah.
one of the best, like that, the biggest clubs that is still doing that consistently. And like that's why I'm like, if a player is willing to leave, they're not. Why would they leave that system? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it it's funny. It's always like you feel like it's a case of a young player either being mismanaged by whoever is managing them, or they're
Right.
just little idiots. Early in the Jurgen Klopp years, I remember there were a handful of like big academy prospects that wanted out to go play in a first team somewhere, and same, they
Yeah.
all flopped. Like none of them really made it. I'm like, y'all don't realize what you were leaving there, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what
Steven
happens.
Gerrard's cousin was one of them. What was that kid's name? I feel like
Oh
it was like
yeah. What the hell was
Bobby
it?
Bobby Clark. No, Bobby Clark was another of our academy kids, but that's not him.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
he was
yeah.
supposed to be like a really big deal, and he forced a move to a first team spot like in Italy. I feel like when he was 17, and he was never heard from again.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I do think a lot of it is these kids are young and their management teams are dickheads.
Yeah, a lot of
They're
times
looking
it's a
for a
family
money move,
member that just
or yeah, a
sees
family
they can
member.
just see that one commission check on the horizon, and that's all they think about.
Yep. Yeah. It's unfortunate, honestly. I feel bad for these kids that that shit happens to.
Right.
There's no guarantee he'd ever make it at Arsenal, but like he's still so young and in a club that is doing a lot with their youth academy. It seems weird, like a weird move to me.
Right. Another player that's kind of been in the discussion is Matthias Cunha at Wolves, obviously, as Wolves'
Yeah.
season seems to be in, you know, not a super inspiring place. Relegation
Yeah.
is really looking likely.
There's a lot
And
of still images of Gabrielle whispering into his ear as they were going
oh,
off the
really?
pitch. Yeah.
Well,
A lot
apparently
of
Nottingham Forest made an official move for him, and I think we're
yeah.
rejected, right?
Yes, I think they were, yeah. Arsenal were, I don't know if the bid was, none of the resources or the sources were ever super legit, I think.
Mm.
They said we were going to bid for him, but I think that was a lot of press before the match kind of stuff.
I think something tells me he is a name to keep an eye on deadline day.
I do too. I mean, just the fact that there was a little bit of grumbling of like disagreements behind the scenes. He hasn't
Hmm.
signed that contract, which they announced he was going to sign, which was a huge deal.
Right.
And now he's holding back on signing that, so that's obviously causing some tension.
Yeah.
I wouldn't rule out a move, yeah, a last minute move for him from
No.
somebody.
No, not for him. For Ferguson, Marcus Rashford apparently is no longer talking to Ruben Amorim at Manchester United.
Yeah,
That's
the
another.
Rashford one is another one to keep an eye on. I feel like I don't know what he's gonna do at this point.
Yeah, I mean he's being pretty universally slammed at United for lack of effort and arrogance and just kind of sitting on a fat contract there. So
Yeah,
you have to wonder if he can be turned around, if a culture at a different club would snap him out of that.
right. How
It's hard
much
to
of
say.
that is the situation at United, and how much of that is Rashford's ego or whatever,
Yeah.
personality? Yeah, deadline day. Like I don't think it's gonna be a busy one, but it could be an interesting one.
That's a good point, actually. As you were saying that, I was thinking, actually, don't promise that episode. We'll see if it's interesting. If stuff happens, maybe we'll talk
Yeah.
about it.
It could
Uh,
be interesting. There's a couple of potential things bubbling that could cause a couple big moves. So we'll see.
yeah.
Or it could be an absolute dud and nobody does anything and it's just over.
You never really know, do you? You
You
never
don't
know in
these days.
January.
No.
Yeah.
No. January is a very weird window.
Yeah.
Like even right now, like this is even when teams like Arsenal are saying we have money we want to spend on a player and they're still not, it's still just this difficult to get anything done in January.
Yeah.
The one I don't know, maybe this is a good test point if you've seen this rumor anywhere. Nico Williams keeps coming up. He has a buyout clause,
That's
but
exciting.
there
I know.
was there. I mean, but like I said, I haven't seen any sources that have truly gotten me excited about it yet. That
I was
I'm
gonna
like,
say, yeah. I feel like that's one you guys have been linked with for a while, right?
I
Long
actually
enough.
do, yeah, and I do think that one's potential in the summer. I think
I
that
see.
could be one that we try and do in the summer.
That's exciting stuff.
But which I'd be super excited about. But I don't know. I haven't seen any legit people talking about it in January.
Sure.
I don't think he probably doesn't want to move in the middle of the season. I'm sure the team doesn't want to let him go.
Right.
So
Well, we'll see, Alex. Until then, let me see. Do I have any other things? Did you see a 17-year-old boy was arrested for the horrific abuse of Kai Havertz's wife?
yeah, yeah.
I saw
I
that and I
honestly
was like, it had to be a 17-year-old boy, right?
exactly right. I was gonna say it's not shocking and kind of a relief that it wasn't just some like 50-year-old British asshole, like old grumpy asshole.
Just like the saddest middle-aged man, like incel of all time.
Yeah, kind of a relief that it was just a stupid teenage kid.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure. That's the only, if there's ever like an excuse to say the horrific stuff that he said. Like I probably
yeah,
said stuff like that when I was
I
17.
was gonna say, yeah, there's, he's technically he should know better, obviously, but like, yeah, everyone knows kids are idiots
Right.
sometimes. Hopefully, it's a good lesson for him.
Yeah, hopefully so. Hmm. Oh yeah, and one last dig at Manchester United. Did you see they made a statement to their members that the club is going to be in breach of profit and sustainability rules if they don't raise ticket prices next season. So I thought it was kind of funny that the club is using financial fair play or profit sustainability as it's
As an
called now.
excuse to jack prices.
Yeah, because Ratcliffe is starting to face a lot of public backlash, I think, for focusing on the profitability of the club. So that is a little bit of funny news. And with that, I am out of news. Alex, do you have any?
Did you just on that ticket price note? Did you see that clip going around? Carragher's on a few different podcasts now and like just talk shows about football.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one where they're like talking to, I think, a group of fans. They're like kind of asking questions and getting opinions from like a group of
Yeah,
fans.
they do like a little bit of a town hall.
Yeah, yeah. But they brought up ticket prices and they were saying how I think I can't remember if they were just like worried about it or what, but they're basically comparing the fact that an NFL game you're paying $400 for one ticket,
Yeah.
whereas like in England they're still complaining about paying like basically $100 tops for a
Yeah,
ticket.
exactly.
Um, Which I agree. I think sports should be affordable for everybody to go to. I think the NFL's bullshit here for that, but I understand British people's worry that that is coming for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, that's we talked about the Premier League hoarding money, and yeah, that's where that money is coming from, people's pockets. Obviously, that's such an obvious thing to
Yeah,
say, but
yeah,
yeah, if they want it to continue to grow to be this like mega like global event like the NFL is, that's the only
yeah.
you know.
I mean, I think the thing we can say about a lot of things in the world right now is there doesn't seem to be a limit on greed.
No, no, it's absolutely
So
insane, dude.
you can't rule anything out when it comes to financial things, even when they already have everything at their fingertips.
Yeah, and it sucks because they make so much money from other revenue streams other than ticket sales.
That they don't
And
need
and they
it.
could so easily institute an armistice. So you can't even argue for the sake of competition.
Yeah,
That oh, we have to do this to compete with these other teams because they make so much money. It's like, no, we could just put a cap on it.
put a
Match
maximum
day,
cap on match day prices.
exactly. Like tickets cap out at £50. Boom, done. Everyone's on the same playing field. Y'all just don't get that little bit of extra revenue anymore. It's not that big
Right?
of a deal. No club is really going to suffer from losing that.
No, not at all. It's literally just going to even the playing field out more for those smaller teams.
I was going to say it would literally benefit Sweet Baby Bournemouth, who we love, who only make
Yeah,
3% of their total revenue from ticket sales. It would hardly affect them at all.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that'd be fine. I'm sure they'd be fine with that.
Yeah, they would love it, I'm sure.
And it is like, obviously we're foreigners that love the game, but like it does bother me and make me a little sad to think about the tourist tickets are what they're trying to jack up prices for basically
Yeah,
is they're trying
definitely.
to have like people like us come to games there
Yes.
for big money, not the local people who have supported the club the whole time being able to go to a game.
Yeah, no, exactly. They don't want a season ticket holder that's paying legacy prices on a ticket they've had for 3 generations.
Yeah,
They want me
which
to
is
spend $700 to fly over for a once in a lifetime trip to Anfield, you know?
exactly. Which obviously we want those experiences, but at the same time, it is there's got to be a limit. I hope there is a limit to it.
Same. All right, Alex, let's wrap it up.
Cool.
Kind of a weird episode. Sorry, I feel like I was very low energy this episode.
That's all right. We kind of I think honestly, I think this is gonna come out all right in the end.
You think
We
so?
rambled about a lot of stuff, but I think there were some fun topics in here.
All right. I like the optimism, Alex. We'll see. We'll see how it
We'll
shakes out
see
in
how
the
it comes together in the end. Yeah.
edit.
Could be a hot mess.
Hopefully, Gravy's in a few frames.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that if I'm right, when I set up the camera, this little dog bed over here had some gravy action on camera.
Little Gravester. That little son of a bitch.
Now the sweet boys are up in their tower, cozied up together again. That's actually a new development. That's nice. I like that.
Oh, yeah, that they're buddying up in the tower.
Yeah, they're getting cozy in the tower together.
Nice.
Twigs is being forced to snuggle.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel like the story you posted recently, that was exactly how I read it. Like Twigs had
I
been laying
almost,
there.
I think it's funny. I was gonna caption it, but I was like, no one really knows these cats, but I knew you would get it.
Yeah.
Twigs' face just looking kind of annoyed.
Yeah,
with
like
Gravy's next
like
to him.
Gravy had clearly just walked up and flopped on top of him.
Yeah, Gravy being the sweetest boy ever, and Twigs just being like.
But it's
Guess
funny
I'll
because
stay."
Gravy's face looks sassier, but he's being the sweetie pie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He always looks the sassiest, but he's the sweetest.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. He's a lovely little guy.
It's true.
All right, man. Thanks for recording late once again, folks.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, that's episode 72. And we'll probably see you back with a little transfer window closing episode.
Yeah, let's hope for a good wild transfer window so that we can have something to talk about.
Yeah, shake up the second half of the business end of the season.
Right?
See if we can get a real challenger for Liverpool, maybe.
Watch out, City's going to start collecting 6 points a game. They'll be on your tail in no time.
I know, I'm actually not happy about that. I see them come. I see them in the rear view. I'm adjusting
know how
the mirror. Like, oh, shit.
I know how that works.
They're still back there. We haven't gotten rid of them yet.
God, they're so stressful.
Yeah. All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, later, man.
See ya.
Soccer situation.